How are you?
Good. So
I'm
how
good.
are you?
Yes,
How's your week been?
not too bad. I had Friday off, so I was very excited. I love my 9-day fortnights. It's amazing.
And what did you do?
Took myself to brunch because brunch is something I love, and had my avocado on toast. I
Oh my
also
gosh, such a millennial.
I did with my poached eggs. I didn't like the eggs. I don't know, I paid like $30 for this breakfast, but again,
Millennials, yeah. But you're not a millennial, though, are you?
no, I am
Are you?
technically.
Oh, typical
Yeah.
millennial.
Yeah. But the eggs weren't great. It tasted weird. Like, I don't know, like cardboard. So, yes. But anyway, I made myself feel better with shopping at Birkenhead Point. So, yes. And then I had hot pot at my place. So I was very excited. I had a great day. I love taking myself out. What about you? Did you do anything exciting last week?
I did. I was thinking, what
Mm.
did I do? Last week, I did I have a friend? Yeah, I had a friend round for dinner. That was really nice. I
Mhm.
hadn't seen her in a while, so we caught up for dinner, cooked dinner.
Mm.
And at the weekend, I had drinks with friends as well, and some friends I hadn't seen. And then I took myself to the beach for a walk in the morning with with the doggy.
Sounds lovely.
I know. It's lovely. It was a really beautiful day, actually. It was really busy, of course, at the beach. And then, oh yeah, and then spent the rest of the day cleaning and cooking. Yay. Those kind of things. Mm. So thanks for asking. And I didn't have a date. Remember I was talking about the date? I didn't have a date.
Oh, you
Cancelled.
didn't have.
They
Oh,
cancelled. It's the
really?
second first date cancellation I've had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Well, at least it wasn't a what's the word? At least I wasn't stood up. That's worse.
That is much worse. Yes, that would be terrible. So yes, I suppose this is better, but
Mm.
still poor form, I feel,
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
date. So very, very unlikely to have a second go around at a first date. You know? Like, I don't know.
Hmm.
Puts me on.
Yeah. And then obviously woke up to the very sad news last week as well about the Queen.
Yes, that was, well, I suppose not altogether shocking, because she was, what, 96, I think. Yeah, so she did very well. But I think the Queen Mother lived to like 100 and something, actually. So
Mm. Mm.
anyway,
Yeah, but she worked 70 years. Yes,
yeah,
70 years.
yeah,
Can
70
you imagine?
years.
Can you imagine being in the same job for 70 years?
No, I can't. It would be crazy. So yes, but I suppose if the job is Queen of England, I don't know. Might be.
Yeah.
And now we have King Charles.
Now we have King Charles.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mm.
Yeah.
And the Queen, by the time this goes to air, this
Mm.
goes out, the Queen will have had her funeral.
Mm. Yeah.
And what a big affair.
I'm sure it'll be huge. So many people have already been turning up. I've been watching, like, oh, who is it? Prince William and Harry have been out with their wives and, walking down, because people have gathered and in mourning and things like that. And there were thousands, tens of thousands of people already. So
True.
mm,
And I think it's worth celebrating. Well, whether you're a royalist or not doesn't really matter.
exactly.
Like,
But yes, it's
it's
still.
like a remarkable woman
Mm,
and an absolute feminist
mm,
to hold power. It's from such a young age.
mm,
Can you even imagine what she may have had to overcome
mm.
or navigate as a woman, especially even now, even in this day and age where it's more progressive,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
that age as well.
Well, yeah, I think we were talking about it earlier that it's weird that even as far as we've come, it's still hard nowadays to identify yourself as feminist because, people always feel that's not a good not a good, badge that you should be wearing. There's always a qualifier. I'm a feminist, but not one of those feminists.
Let's think of a feminist. I guess it depends what's feminist mean to you. What does feminist mean to you, Meenal?
Well, see, again, I feel as if I have to explain that as a feminist, I don't hate men,
No, but what does it mean? Not what does it not mean? What does it mean to you?
Well, I mean, for me, I believe that, all women should be equal. And that means not judging women for what they want to do. Whether you want to have a career and have kids at the same time, or, you want to have a career, but you don't want to have kids, or you don't want a career, you just want to stay at home and look after your, 10 children, that's what you want to do. And we should be able to do that without judgment and actually be able to celebrate all of those achievements and to help all of those women to make sure that they're safe and happy and whatever. Because I think for me, I think it's so much around a lot of women not having access to, like, some women, yes, they're fine and they're protected and they're, feel safe. But then there's a whole lot of other women who live in poverty and, have aggressive home lives and things like that don't have access to, proper care and things. That is sad.
Yeah.
And maybe that is because they're in a subset of a group, low socioeconomic or something. But yeah.
Okay.
What does feminism mean for you?
To me, it means freedom. It means freedom and respect, and to be treated the same as men, as in given the same opportunities, be measured by your character, be measured by your ability, or being given opportunities based on your potential, and just not differentiate in any way. And, having the same rights to be safe, to have work. But there needs to be support because women are the one that have the babies. Yeah. And, we were talking about it a few weeks ago when we talked about Serena Williams, like the fact is she has to physically carry and deliver the baby and be part of its, early care. So to get support for that need, and that's because we are women. So I guess that's what it means to me to have those freedoms. Yeah.
I don't know. I was raised in a family with very specific gender roles, I suppose. And you know that about me. I can't even carry shit. So it's like thing, women work in the house, men work outside. But actually, I think what helped me to be who I am is to have my mum, who's actually a very strong woman. And you know this, your mum's a very strong woman as well.
I know your mum's a very strong woman. She scared me once.
Well, I think even my mom, she probably wouldn't identify as a feminist, is a total feminist because of, everything she's achieved in her life. So, like the Queen,
yeah. And I was like reflecting on, like, she had 3 children. She was the head of state, so she had, and actually interesting as well because she traveled a lot around the Commonwealth, and she met the heads of states in different countries, and how she carried herself, her presence, knowing that she may be perceived as less because she is a woman.
Yeah.
And how differently she may have been treated if she wasn't actually the queen. Because there would be some countries that still have very old ideas about gender and position and status.
Yeah. And I
some,
know, I think people did talk about, you know, how much her husband, I forgot his name now, Prince Philip?
yeah.
Is whatever, I'm bad with names. Anyway, the other guy she was married to.
Just the one.
Yeah, oh, just the one. Yes, true. She wasn't married to multiple men, as far as we know. That how much he gave up to be consort to the Queen, like it was like a thing, a sacrifice, you know, whether because if it had been reversed, nobody would have talked about any sacrifice that the woman would have made. But because he'd given up his naval career or whatever it was,
Mm.
you know, all the promising.
But women do that all the time.
Exactly. I know, but it's a thing when men do it, you know,
Mm.
and talked about. And, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, he did. And then even like commending him because that was also not the norm at the time.
Yeah.
Mm. It's also not the norm at the time. But then one of the things that somebody pointed out that I just hadn't realized and why I really believe the Queen was a feminist is the fact that she changed the rule about the heir to the throne.
Yes.
And how they could also be, it should just be the firstborn is the heir, whereas it used to have to be the first male. And if there was no male, then obviously it went to who was there. But she's the one that changed that after all the years of the monarchy. So for me, she made that one little thing, that one little contribution, movement forward.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I think, wow, the Queen is a true feminist.
Well, definitely. No, that was amazing, and amazing for England, I think, because I think a few countries have done it. But for England, I think it is a big deal. Because I think who is that? The princess, the Tasmanian one. Oh, which
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You were an Australian.
I don't know. Princess Mary, is it? Yes. And I used to work at a place called the Princess Mary Cancer Center. But anyway, yeah, they did the same thing. I think they did a bit of a rush to when she got pregnant to you know make it so that the firstborn could you know have the throne as opposed to firstborn male. So
Wow,
yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's impressive. Sign of the times.
Well, one hopes because, you know, there's always a little bit of regression that goes with the progression stuff.
I know it's like one step forward, two steps back sometimes, right?
Yes, a little bit. So, anyway, so talking about two steps back, fortunately. So I found a news article at the BBC. The headline reads, I want to see the rainbow flag raised in Iran.
Right.
So that caught my attention and then it got a little bit sad. So in the article, it says that for the first time, 2 women known to have been lesbians have been sentenced to death in Iran. It marks a new stage in the Islamic Republic's persecution of the LGBT.
For the first time?
Yeah, for the first time. So that is not a record we want to see set, but yeah. So this poor lady, the article goes on to say that she said that my biggest hope in life is to raise the rainbow flag in Iran and shout this fact that we exist. Her name is Zahra Haamedani, known as Sarah, talking to the BBC Persia in May 2021. 5 months later, she was arrested by the Iran Revolutionary Guard, and now she has been tried and sentenced to death at the age of 31. Along with another woman, Ilham Kudba, 24. Yeah, it's crazy. So these women were friends and had a business relationship and they sold beauty products. And so Sarah wasn't a well-known LGBT activist, but she did have an Instagram account that was popular, and she talked about and occasionally talked about the LGBT communities in Iran and Iraqi Kyrgyzstan, which is where she was kind of living as well. So she talked to TV crews about those communities. And the reason why is that she said, why am I talking in public is because I want the other LGBT friends to go through what I went, not to go through, of course, what I went through. And I don't want other women like me to go through forced marriage. So she was married before and she had 2 kids, and obviously she did get a divorce, and actually she was arrested in Iran on the border of Turkey. But one of her friends was saying she probably came back to Iran to see her kids, so she missed them so much. But she was trying to seek asylum in Turkey at the time when she was arrested. So yeah, it was a very sad story.
So is it illegal?
Yeah, it is. So it says, so they were charged. So the Iranian judiciary said that they were found guilty of human trafficking and corruption on earth, which is a Sharia law term that refers to anti-Islamic behavior. The trafficking accusation was first made on Iranian state television in November. And the news report said that Sarah had been promoting offering young Iranian women higher education, jobs, and better lives in Iraqi Kyrgyzstan, but had instead sold them into slavery. It is also said that she had been promoting illegal gambling and throwing LGBT parties. There was no evidence given of these accusations, however, and the human rights group Amnesty International has rejected them. So
awful.
Yeah.
Poor woman. So the law specifically is a Shari law. Is that what I understand?
Yeah, I believe
correct.
So.
About what did they call it? What did
they what was it? Corruption on earth. That's human trafficking and corruption on earth is what they call it. But they have Iranian authorities have prosecuted gay men under bogus charges. Because under Iranian law, sex between 2 men is punishable by death. But authorities don't charge them with that. They charge them with offenses such as rape and incest and drug trafficking, to make it look like that's not what they're doing. But they generally haven't gone after women before. So because the sex between 2 women is not punishable by a death sentence, but up to 100 flogs.
So how do you get death sentence, which is the poor woman's been murdered? How do you get a death sentence from if it's not, it's this whole, it's terrible. This whole, sorry, what did you say again?
Well, but that's what it is, because it's bogus. I don't believe they're real charges.
No, but the one that's the part that's ambiguous, human trafficking is very specific.
Yes.
And that doesn't, and that's not no evidence. They did, like it says in that story, there was no evidence. But the other one,
the corruption on earth.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't really explain what that means, but it is, They had said they were accused of spreading homosexuality and promoting Christianity.
Spreading homosexuality.
Yeah, and communicating with media that is hostile to the Islamic State, the Islamic.
Wow.
So,
And it makes you wonder why now.
Yeah, exactly. Because the article does go on to say that Iran was not always like this, of course. We know that before 1979, the Islamic Revolution, many international LGBT figures, including Andy Warhol, traveled to Iran. And there were rumors that the Shah's favorite prime minister was gay. But it goes on to say that my generation has suffered a lot under the rule of the Islamic Republic. Since the news of Sarah came out, I've deactivated all my social media accounts. I don't want to get arrested and executed.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I wonder what changed in the country But then I say that, I wonder what changes in most countries with the way we're seeing women treated even.
Yeah. Well, I think people have been working at this for a while, right? Like, as much as you've got people who are trying to do their level best for the LGBT community in these countries like Sarah, but you've also got authorities trying to work against them every day. So I'm sure that they were trying to get her and arrest her for a really long time. So yeah,
That's a tragedy.
it really is.
Mm.
And you know, when you hear news like that, you're just like, oh, don't know. It doesn't give you a lot of hope, right?
Well, there's a few things. There's one, I guess I'm grateful where we live. It may not be ideal in how we want it to be, but we're not being executed. We're not being executed for our beliefs or for our opinions or even for who we are, fundamentally who we are.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're not being forced to marry.
Yes.
Well, we'd have been forced to marry ages ago.
Yes. Well, never say never. My mother would still probably like to do it if she could, but no. Yeah.
Promoting Christianity was interesting there.
Well, she apparently she wore a cross in one of her media like posts or things like that, and that's all it was really. I don't think she was in particular promoting, you know, Christianity. She was wearing a cross.
But again, that it's again freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom to choose a religion or not.
Exactly.
I didn't realize that. Didn't realize. So really good. It's good to share this story to bring attention to the persecution of others in parts of the world in 2022. Well, that was 2021, but I don't imagine it's got any better.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is recent, I think. But, you know, she's been, this was 2 days ago. It's just, she's been an active, you know, the interviews with BBC were last year. The interviews with Sarah and BBC were last year. So they've used quotes from there. So
it's awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, why now? No, really, why now?
I don't know. Well, given all the changes, I feel like it's, you know, it's been a rough few years for women and LGBT.
Oh, minority.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez. I wonder, like, I know this is a scary, scary thought. I am actually comparing it to Hitler and, you know, Nazi Germany. And I'm wondering if it's like a cycle of mindset of where we're heading. And the factors, you know, the factors that lead to that. Because really, it's the people in power, right? It's the people in the highest levels. The people that lead. And I don't know, is that country run like by like a royal family or is it?
Yeah, I believe Iran is.
It's just like how, well, yeah, we're considered very lucky and privileged.
Yeah. Pahlavi dynasty was the last royal ruling for almost 54 years, actually.
Well, hopefully that, you know, she doesn't die in vain and her voice is heard and shared through those stories. Such a sad story.
It is. Oh dear.
Talking of countries where with a lot more freedoms, freedom of persecution, to an extent. Not ideal, not perfect. The world isn't perfect. Countries are not perfect. But I'd say England is pretty good. I guess to an extent, because of how some of the terrible things that they did as a country, like colonizing parts of the world. They were kind of forced to learn about other cultures.
Yeah.
It kind of forced them indirectly. You couldn't not be. Not to say there isn't discrimination, and not to say that you've got such diverse leadership and in politics either, but
yes, I don't know if this new female prime minister is a good thing or not. Indications are not as promising as I would have hoped, because I had no idea who she was till she came in power. And then when she started, promoting some of her rhetoric, and I was like, oh, maybe not. But anyway, but yeah, I guess they had to. Say, for example, when they colonized, well, not colonized, they took over India or whatever they call it, and all the Indian people followed them back home. So you were like, oh, you got to get used to all the Indian people in England. And now they have really good curry.
Yeah. There's a lot with West India, Caribbean.
Exactly.
I guess West Africa. Lots. So there's lots of flavor in England.
Certainly, yes.
Yeah, lots of flavor. Makes it tastier.
Well, I think I was talking to one of the girls at work, and that was one of the things that she pointed out. She's American, she's moved here. And of course, we have an amazing array of, Asian food and things like that. Obviously, lots of
Asian food is great.
I think we do really well with Asian food, but she says we do lack the Mexican and Latin food because we don't have a lot of immigration from that area. So she's just trying to find good Mexican food, and there really isn't very much.
It's very rare. Well, it's just the cuisine, the culture in any country is positively impacted by immigration. Yeah. I don't see negative, and I'm sure somebody will say, oh, that's idealistic or something.
Yeah.
But the people talk about overpopulation and but as our population grows, regardless of how it grows, whether it grows because we baby boom, or if it grows because we have immigration, then, with great leadership, we can accommodate growth.
Yeah. You know what I'm curious about? It's so random. Sorry, it's completely random.
Right, go on.
But, I always thought, since I've been, going crazy with buying clothes, I was like, what would it be like? Because obviously for me, I'm like, I really want to wear a sari. I want to wear a sari more. But if I was in India, there would be no possibility, because my family is, fifth generation Fijian Indian. But anyway, if I was in India.
You couldn't wear a sari?
Yeah, but you could just get dressed in the morning, wear a sari and go to work.
Right. And what's stopping you from doing that here?
Can you imagine?
I think you should do it.
Oh, no. Yeah, that would be insane. But you know what I mean?
Honestly, though, what is stopping you? Tell me.
Oh, no way. You can't wear a sari to work. People are going to look at you like you're mental. It would just be too weird.
Seriously, though, because I actually have in the UK, my GP wore a sari.
Really?
Yeah, the husband and wife, I guess Indian or Pakistan, I don't know, and it's been a long time, as a child.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were my childhood doctors.
Yeah.
She wore a sari with a white coat over it.
Yeah. No.
It's not, and you saw it, it's not unusual. So what makes it?
I don't think you could do that here. I don't think I've seen women wear a salwar with
but then I might be misunderstanding what a sari is. I don't know the exact description of it. It looked like what may be a sari, but it could probably not be a sari.
Yeah.
Something that was, though, traditionally Indian clothing. Yes.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? I've never grew up in a country that was like India, everybody was the same. you know, generally,
Well,
obviously India isn't very sane, but you know, like it just, for me, I was just like, oh, you could do that.
just be a trendsetter, Meenal. Just start wearing sari, like, or something to work. I think the thing is, are you comfortable wearing a sari? Not about anybody else, because you're wearing, as long as you're not half naked in your job, then I don't see that there's a problem in what you wear.
No, I don't think I would.
This is more about how you feel.
I would be up for that. But yeah, if there was alternate universe where I could do it, I would do it.
Well, you can. You could do it here. You don't need an alternate. All right then. What would need to be the circumstances that you would do it?
See, I object to wearing saris if it's like a fancy dress or a something. I don't know. Somebody,
yeah, a fancy dress where it's not a suit. Like, yeah.
Yeah, because it's not fancy dress. It's just, you know, so I like a costume party or something. I find that irritating. But I don't know. I don't know.
So what?
I don't think there would be a situation where I wear a sari to work. Even though I would want to try it.
All right, that's your mission. Should you choose to accept it?
Okay.
To wear a sari at work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking of dressing up, there's this story that I found quite refreshing, actually. And it's about it's an English. A lot of our news is English or Australian. Often, but it's English. Oh, and the headline is, it's gone all funny on my screen. Miss England contestant is first to compete without makeup. And I thought, wow, does that ever happen? Well, obviously it does. Miss England contestant Melissa Rofe, I can't pronounce Rofe, has brought the spotlight to the competition after becoming the first contestant to compete without makeup. In its 94-year history, the pageant has never had a bare-faced contestant, never. And the move has gained Ralph, I can't say her name, a flood of support on social media. So I apologise, Melissa Ralph, for not being able to pronounce your surname correctly. The 20-year-old politics student from London decided to enter the competition sans makeup, as she felt it would be a good platform to promote her inner beauty and challenge the standard social media perception of beauty. And she's quoted as saying that it means a lot to me, as I feel many girls of different ages wear makeup because they feel pressured to do so. If one is happy in their own skin, we should not be made to cover up our face with makeup. Our flaws make us who we are, and that's what makes every individual unique. I think people should love and embrace their flaws and blemishes, as we know real beauty lies within. The Miss England pageant introduced a barefaced round to the competition in 2019, and it's optional. And the organizer, Angie Beasley, added it, and she says it encourages women to show us who they really are without the need to hide behind makeup and filters on social media. This is the first time that a contestant has completely forgone makeup. That's amazing. And she competed in the semi-final, and she says, yeah, she competed in the semi-final. Doesn't say she won. Maybe we've not got to that stage of the competition yet. I feel like I need to.
I'm looking at her photo and she is gorgeous, like even without makeup. So that's amazing. Yeah.
But most of them probably are.
Yes. I mean, they are competing in Miss England, so I imagine they are.
Gorgeous. I've not got any makeup on, by the way, today. Just got my Beautify touch up that Zoom has.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever not worn makeup.
I don't have makeup on today. I started to wear less and less makeup, actually. Well, mostly in COVID. But even I would have makeup-free days in the office when I was in the office as well.
Really?
Really. But it was really completely driven by efficiency because I didn't have time. It's more important that I have more time for work and sleep.
True.
So it was driven by that. But yes, I felt absolutely fine. I got into the habit, and it didn't. Then the first couple of times, a big deal. Like, ooh, ooh. And actually, the odd person would go, "Oh, are you feeling all right?"
Yes.
Yeah. You get those comments, and I'd be like, "Yes, I just don't have any makeup on today."
Oh, wow.
But after a couple of times, it's fine. I just got used to it. And it's people getting used to your face, because if you think about, people have only ever seen you wearing makeup.
Yes.
And I could honestly say I have a few friends where I probably don't remember seeing them not without any makeup on, like girlfriends.
Yeah.
It's just being used to not seeing that. And I think that's why you might get the odd comment, because people aren't used to seeing you without any makeup on.
Yes. Well, most recently, most people have been telling me how tired I look. So,
and you've got makeup on.
exactly.
So you must be tired.
I was like, I don't know how I'll look without makeup on. My God. That's a scary thought. But yeah, I think it does. I mean, especially for someone who's competing in Miss England, I think it takes a lot of courage to do something like that. Because, I've never even gone to the office without makeup on. So, yeah.
Do you know what we should have? We should create it. An international makeup-free day.
Oh, yeah. Honestly. But will that break up marriages? Will that break up marriages and relationships, do you think?
Well, if it did, then it wouldn't be worth very much, that relationship, if that was really what it took to break a marriage or relationship. But I actually would not surprise me if there's husbands that have not seen their wives without makeup on.
Oh, yes. We've heard the stories of women waking up at the crack of dawn just to put their face on, just so the husband doesn't see it in the morning. So
it's mental. I like wearing makeup. I'm nothing against makeup. I love makeup. I love how I can emphasize, my eyes or whatever, and create a different look because I like variety. So I love how I can create a different look through makeup. And make a fresh look or whatever. And actually, more men wear makeup these days. Have you noticed?
Yes, I have noticed. BTS, so yeah. I follow BTS.
What's that?
The Korean boy band.
Oh, a Korean boy band. Okay.
They are well into makeup, so yes, 100%. Which I think is awesome.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Because it's just emphasizing things. So, but I think you should be. And it's unfortunate that you can't be comfortable without it. So much so that you wouldn't leave the house without it, or, people who in your inner circle couldn't see you without it. I think that's a bit of a tragedy and says a lot about how you feel about yourself. Which is, sad.
You know how they say, what if you had to live like a man for I don't know, if you magically got turned into a man one day and you had to live like that for a week, what would you enjoy the most? For me, I think that would be I like makeup and whatever, but to just not have to put it on.
And don't
be like, oh, I'm just going to look out the door.
Same with the Sari.
Just
don't
wash my face.
All right. Let's see. All right, tomorrow
I'm
you go to work without any makeup on.
Oh, there's not. I'm going to clinic, so there is no way. Actually, I wear a ginormous mask in clinic, so I could potentially not wear makeup. So,
All right. So will you do a non-makeup day at some point when you're going to work and tell us how that went?
Oh, please. I think then the whole office will tell me how tired I look instead of just the first 5 people who see me walk in the morning. And walk out tonight are you okay? I'm like, geez, I need to go get a facial or something.
Just get some more sleep, though.
Yes, that's probably what it is. More sleep and more water. I realized
I didn't actually get a drink of water before we started.
Oh, jeez. I did say this to the HR lady accidentally. It was just a long day and a rough day. And she was, I saw her in the bathroom and she was like, oh my gosh, it's such a long day today. Oh, have you had the day I've had? And it sort of came out. And
who said that? She said that.
She said, have you had the long,
I
day
don't
they've ever
know.
had. And I was just, the first thing that came to my head was, I have not peed all day. I said this to and he sort of just looked at me and I was like, oh shit. Come out of my mouth. And then because I didn't know a way to fix it, I'm just like, gonna pee now. So
But isn't that an interesting thing a strange and interesting thing to say to someone? Have you had the day I have had?
Yes,
Because
exactly.
nobody's had the day you've had. Nobody's had anybody's day because everybody has a completely different experience.
Exactly, and I'm sure her day was hard, definitely, but I had just been in clinic all day and literally had not had a drink of water or anything else. So I was in a bit of a mood.
All right, I might ask somebody that tomorrow. Have you had the day I've had?
Yes, exactly. See what they say.
See what they say, because that's just I've never heard anyone
Inform
say
you
that before.
about their bodily functions at all.
Yeah, with that.
Yes. Anyway, speaking of bodily functions.
Really? Oh yeah, all right, yeah.
It was a nice segue.
That's great.
So I have a news article from the Good News Hub. Thank God, some good news. And the title reads that Scotland is the first country to provide free period products.
Woohoo!
Oh, honestly, this is I genuinely, obviously we've heard about this every now and then, but I genuinely never thought it would happen. But Scotland has become the first country to make period products free for everyone that needs them in a decision that was unanimously, which is an amazing word, unanimously.
I love that word, unanimously.
Voted by Scottish Parliament. Go Scottish Parliament, honestly. So Monday, 15th of August, the Period Products Act came into force thanks to a bill that was proposed by Monica Lennon, a Labour MP, back in 2016.
Wow.
So Monica for sticking to it.
5 years.
Yeah, amazing. The law will allow anybody access to free sanitary products. Council and education providers will legally be required to provide these products. Lennon said that local authorities and partner organisations will work hard to make the legal right to access to free products a reality. And this is a big milestone for period dignity campaigners and grassroots movements, which shows the difference that progressive and bold political choices can make. And obviously, as the cost of living crisis takes hold, the Period Products Act is a beacon of hope, which shows what can be achieved when politicians come together for the good of the people we serve. Which is amazing. Like politicians actually doing something nice.
Yeah, it's amazing. That is incredible. Because I always wondered why we had to pay for that. I mean, there's so many arguments. Like, this is my very young thought. I think I remember thinking this when I was really young, like a teenager. Why do we have to pay for these when I absolutely need them?
Yeah.
And it would be dignified not to be able to have them.
Yeah.
Like, what would you do instead? I guess I saw this show about the not Vikings, but ancient time, like some different eras. And it was, I thought she was a Viking or Saxon or that kind of, group where she used moss. They used to use moss.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they used to use moss to because I was like, yeah, they thought is what did they use? Before.
I know. I don't know how hygienic moss would be, but
well, yeah, we don't go, we'll go there. But you need it's just a need. But then you could say, well, you need food and you could argue all these things as well.
Well, did you know that there's actually a name for being unable to afford sanitary products? It's called period poverty.
I didn't.
I did not know that. That's what it says. And access to the like you're saying, access to the period products can be prohibitive for people in low income. And they interviewed somebody from a social enterprise called Hey Girls, and they're saying that they hear that a lot of mothers are going without period protection just so they can feed their children, and they're using things such as newspapers stuffed in socks or even bread because it's cheaper.
Oh my goodness, seriously.
Which
There you
is
go then.
horrible. Yes.
That's absolutely amazing. I remember I mentioned this to someone, and this someone is an amazing, smart, lovely person and a friend. And, she mentioned that, people because they've tried to get it in lots of countries, even in Australia, I think there was an argument about having free period products as well. And the argument against is usually something like, well, if you make lots of things free for people, like that are on benefits, then you're discouraging them from getting jobs or improving their circumstances because they get so many things for free. Not just, it would be if there was lots of things.
Yeah.
And that would be another thing. And coming from being raised in a family from benefits myself, I just don't see how that rings true. I'm not going to say that there's not people out there that, would take the piss, really. If they're getting everything free, they don't want to work, whatever. I'm not saying that that's not a reality, but I don't think it's a majority. I'd say it was a minority.
Yeah.
And really, it's about the majority that you're helping.
It's the same thing that people say about not giving homeless people money. Like, oh, they're going to blow it on booze, or they're going to blow it on whatever. And it's like, well, what does it matter what they use?
I would.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but people do it all the time. Like, people with money go on a bender and do whatever they want. So what's the problem? I don't think being judgmental about that is right. It's about,
well, it's not. It's a justification for you not to part with your money.
Exactly. But they should next tackle the pink tax, because I think that's
oh, well, actually, I looked up because I was like, well, what's the situation in Australia? I know they've tried. I know there's been discussions about it, but they did at least get rid of GST.
Oh,
and that was in 2019.
Oh, okay.
So you don't actually pay GST on sanitary products since 2019.
I noticed that they've gone down in price. I'm just trying to think if they've gone down in price.
I didn't notice, but I didn't notice. But I mean, there's like, there are. I think there just needs to be education, because like so many women are moving into the cups now. So buying one or two of those are reasonable for years.
Yes.
And you wouldn't need to spend the money on sanitary products. And let's not go into the situation where I try to use those things, because oh my God.
Because I have bought one, but I've just haven't been able to just make it work. So
well, let's just say I'm thinking I needed a trip to A&E. I was to do a removal, let's just put it that way. And I was just so panicked. I was like, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah, so there's that.
But lots of people use them successfully, I have to say.
Yes.
Please don't let my experience put you off. And I have to, and I would like to re-challenge that for myself, but don't let that put you off. But at least we have the option now, because they've not been around that long, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe in the last 10 years, but
no judgment to anybody who doesn't want to use them.
No judgment to not using them. I get the environmental argument for not using them.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, we need something.
Yes.
And exactly. It's such a accomplishment, and so heartening to hear about a government and a country making that decision for their citizens.
Exactly. No, it is an amazing news story, and good luck. Good job, Scotland.
And at least, like I say, GST, which if you're in the UK is like having no VAT on your products.
Yes.
No tax.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I think that's everything we want to talk about today.
Mm.
Just reminding listeners out there, we would love to hear your stories. We'd love to share some personal stories. Actually,
Absolutely.
we haven't got time this week, but next week, maybe, Meenal, you can share a personal story. Maybe.
I will think of one.
Maybe. But other than that, we've enjoyed talking to you. I've enjoyed talking to you as well, Meenal.
Oh,
You always make me laugh.
oh yes, with my randomness. And then I
Yes.
never want to listen to this again because I'm just like, why did I say that?
No, it's so funny. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. Thanks for chatting. And then we'll speak to you next week.
All
See you
right.
next Wednesday.
See you next Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.